Scottish Parliament votes to hold new independence referendum.
Here's a summary of the article.
Scotland's Parliament voted Wednesday to hold a new referendum on Scottish independence, a move intended to increase political pressure on the British government as the UK leaves the European Union. Lawmakers in the Edinburgh-based legislature voted 64 to 54 to call for holding a referendum so that the people of Scotland can decide whether they wish it to become an independent country. The vote will have little immediate effect. A binding referendum can't take place without the British government's agreement, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson this month turned down the Scottish government's request for one on the independence question. Britain as a whole voted narrowly in 2016 to leave the EU, but voters in Scotland opted by a large margin to remain. In my view, it is beyond doubt now that the only realistic way for Scotland to return to the heart of Europe and to ensure we get the governments we vote for is to become an independent country. Sturgeon said. Scottish lawmakers also voted to keep the European Union flag flying outside the Scottish Parliament after Brexit.
This post received a score of 52,566, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
No, we don't need a binding referendum to make political decisions. If Westminster ask why, we just tell them, we learned it from you.
Honestly, it seems like Scotland should just sever the tie. Obviously their relationship is extremely complicated, especially due to sharing the same island landmass, but what exactly would the consequences be if Scotland just did their referendum and left of their own accord?
My basic understanding of the situation, Scotland can vote to leave the UK, however it's non-binding without England's approval of the matter. Leaving the UK after Brexit is finalised hampers Scotland with a ton of cost as they would have to set up their own borders and infrastructure. If they can leave before Brexit, then UK is saddled with these costs, as they are the ones leaving the EU, Scotland is staying. Scotland is left with very little recourse and even less time.
Who cares what England thinks once you've declared yourself legally independent?
Scotland isn't currently sovereign, so it doesn't have a way of legally declaring unilateral independence. Attempting to would give Westminster the political cover to make their own unilateral decisions. It'd be more democratic, entirely legal, undermines Scotland's economy further, and Scotland would have little recourse. I support Scotland getting another vote, but it is vital to independence that Westminster is forced to be at least semi-compliant.
I guess Johnson didn't know about second Brexit.
11s.
They want to leave, but Johnson won't let them. That's a healthy relationship right there.
Nothing spells independent like the inability to make choices.
It's okay, the Scots are known for dealing with English dominance well. Being told no is surely the end of it. Not really surprising, it would be pretty hypocritical for England to go from threatening loss of EU membership if Scotland left the UK just a few years prior, to telling them that they must leave the EU because England and Wales wants to, while Northern Ireland effectively gets to remain to all practical extents. I know this is a drastic oversimplification of the complex histories and policies that led to this point, but it is still a hell of slap in the face to Holyrood from Westminster after the mealy-mouthed pleas of "better together." Why should anyone north of the border believe that the cabinet in London genuinely gives a damn about them unless it comes to saving face as the United Kingdom?
Greater than not really surprising, it would be pretty hypocritical for England to go from threatening loss of EU membership if Scotland left the UK just a few years prior. Also, it is basically the ultimate aim of the SNP, they were always going to keep pushing for another one. Present politics aside, the SNP was always going to go for another push when it could.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.